everybody? Welcome to another episode of This, That,
and the Other.
I'm Joey.
I'm Ian.
And today, well, not today, we recorded this a couple of days ago, but we were able to sit down with a service industry veteran, our friend Major, talked about how she came up in it. The service industry is something me and Ian know all too well, been in it damn near our entire lives. I took a break from it. I worked in film for about 6 years. Then I left, came back to it under specific circumstances that I thought were going to work out. They didn't, so now I'm working my way back out of the service industry again. So before we get in, is there any part of the service industry you want to touch on, Ian?
I mean, I don't know if there's like a particular thing that I want to touch on about the
industry.
industry.
Because we could go on for hours.
We could literally talk about. This is literally a lifespan.
We could have an entire podcast that is centered around nothing but the restaurant industry. We know it all too well.
Yes, we could probably do that. And I mean, it's one of those things like there's certain notes that I would like to touch on, but like I can't literally like put notes on it because it's one of those things that I've been doing it my whole life. And well, I can't say my whole life, but the greater part of my life has been involved in a restaurant of sort. But
I mean, I've been working since I was 14 years old, and I've literally only had like 3 jobs that were not centered around the restaurant industry.
Okay, so as we were interviewing Major, I had some thoughts in my head. Did I get your first restaurant job?
No.
Okay.
My first restaurant job was at this place in Tyrone called Partners Pizza, and my buddy Zach Mickleborough got me that job. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
That was my very first, and it was pizza, and I've worked in so many goddamn pizza places I've lost count. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But yeah, what's funny is people who know us know that like those 3 jobs outside of the, we've only had like, in our whole working career, we've only had like 5 jobs that haven't been together.
I mean, I've probably had a few more because there was a period in like 2020, 21, 22 somewhere. I had quite a few jobs, but like you and me have had a lot of jobs together, lot of jobs together.
But yeah, so this episode is going to cover that. The restaurant industry, man, it's a fucking grind. Before we get into it, I did want to go ahead and throw out a trigger warning, which is something we haven't done in past episodes. But in this interview, we do touch on depression. We do talk about drug use, and we do talk about suicide. So if that is something you don't feel like hearing today, or it's too much for you, you don't have to. I understand that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this interview with Major. All right, joining us now, we have a service industry veteran, front woman of the band Moonlust, and all-around great person, Major. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. No problem at all. So Ian and I know you because you date one of our best friends, Charlie, who we had on the show recently. But let's get to know you. Where are you from? How'd you grow up? What led you to the service industry? Let's get into all of it.
All right, cool. I guess I'll start off with I'm Southern girl. I'm Southern as hell. I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. I was born in Denver, but moved, like at 2 or something to Georgia, Columbus,
so
Georgia.
So no real memory of Denver at all?
Not really. No, I was too young. But moved to Columbus, Georgia, and kind of grew up there most of my, young life, if you will, before I was an adult. And then just kind of moved to Oklahoma for a little bit, moved around a little bit with my first marriage.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How many tornadoes did you see?
Oh, so many. Let me tell you, like Midwest people are fucking nuts. It's like so normal to them. They're like, cool, like let's sit on the porch and watch this shit. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, no, that sounds stupid. I don't think that's a good idea. But there's that.
Awful.
I lived in Oregon for a little bit.
Like the movie Twister is real life for you guys.
Yeah, no, for real. Like normal, like all the time. Happens all the time. Storm cellars are like, the little cellar things in the ground or whatever. They're at every single like
that
establishment.
Sounds like my worst nightmares. All
it
over
is.
One place.
It is
like,
everywhere.
Literally, like there's not much like. There's a lot of things in life that like people say like, oh, my biggest fear, but like Tornadoes for sure. Like,
and on top of everything else, dude,
tornadoes scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, probably for a good reason. You know, they fuck shit up pretty good.
Bad.
Yeah,
bad.
Like, saying. Like
just
natural disasters, like fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, dude. Fuck all that.
Yeah. So like my kid was born at this hospital called Norman Regional, and it had this awesome birth center, huge 4 stories, like massive hospital, 4 or 5 stories, I don't know, big ass building. And where my kid was born, about 2 years after I left Oklahoma, a what is it, category 5 or what is the worst one, right?
Like an F5 or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. Came through and just leveled the shit. It's just gone.
Jesus
the whole fucking thing is just gone. It's gone.
Well, hey, you got out while you're supposed to, I guess.
Right, I know. Thank God, right?
But yeah, so you also said Oregon for a little bit?
Yeah, actually, Oregon happened first. I was in eighth grade. I moved to Oregon and lived there for a little bit. My family just couldn't figure out where the fuck we wanted to live, I guess. I don't know.
Were you a military family, or you guys just moved around a lot?
Kind of, yes, kind of. My dad was a retired ranger, and
okay, cool.
Yeah, but then it's like kind of fucked up because we moved there for like a year and a half, and shit just did not go well, I guess, for my parents. Job-wise, the job market did not mesh well with what they were looking for. And we literally picked back up and moved right back to Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Wow. Yep. Yeah, I know. It's fucked up.
That's not a lot of moving.
That's fucked up for somebody in middle school to go through. But anyways, I adjust well. I don't know. I can make friends with a rock.
I mean, I moved around a lot when I was a kid, but it was all in the general area. Like we moved from house to house, but it was all like in the same county, same city, same area.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I feel like it's a very common thing with like military kids. Like when you grow up as a military kid. My wife is a military kid. Like,
yeah.
You're going to different schools. You're going to different states. You're going to even different countries as a kid. So like,
my dad was a military kid. He was born in Japan, then they moved to Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, fucking all over.
I mean, that's that's crazy. Huge adjustments, honestly, like, because those are so different. It's like, you know, going from the South to fucking Oregon is like, what the fuck? You know, as a kid, I'm like, none of this makes sense to me. I don't fucking know what the hell is happening. Here's, you know, I'm trying to remember what year that was, but like, you know, like LGBT wasn't like wildly accepted yet, you know, that was like not quite there yet. And that was my first experience with seeing a gay couple in Oregon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they've always been ahead of the curve out there.
It's a very like what liberal, you know, area.
Yeah.
And so like all kinds of stuff, dude. Like I remember my mom coming home from work one day and being like, she had a fake mink coat on, and somebody chased her down the street with a bucket of blood. You know, like shit like that.
Was she just screaming, "It's fake! It's fake! I promise, it's not even fucking
They're
real."
like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm coming for you, bitch." You know, I don't. You know.
Like, but yeah, so all that moving around, especially you know, in your adolescence and everything, was it hard for you to like find a group of friends and like, kind of find your way, or did you even give a shit?
I don't know. I've always just kind of been like a very easily adjustable person. I don't know. Life changes are kind of just always been a part of my existence, and so I just kind of like, okay, we're doing this now, you know. Wasn't really that hard. I mean, sure, there was a little bit of difficulty like leaving friends, you know, but making new ones has never been a tough thing for me, so I adjusted well. I don't know, I felt like it was all right. It does make you like very resilient too as a kid when you experience shit like that. You know, it makes you kind of just like let everything just rolls off your back like a duck. You know, you're just like, whatever. I guess I can handle anything that's thrown at me. Kind of
the joys of being young.
Yeah.
No, kids really are resilient. They are. Yeah. Until you hit a certain age. I feel like once you become like hormonal and stuff, that's when shit gets hard.
You know, you have that feeling of like your parents are going to take care of it. Like,
yeah,
sort of. Like,
sort of.
I mean,
yeah, my parents were.
When you're young,
You trust that they're going to, at least. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. I guess that depends.
But yes.
It's
like, you know, parents and kids, there is this bond of trust until it's broken, and that's a shitty day when it's broken, dude.
It truly is. Yeah. Yikes.
But yeah, so moving back to Columbus, is that when your venture into the service industry, did you start working then, or was there still more moving around before you started working?
No, I started pretty young, you know, like I would say like right at that age when you're allowed to. I was always a very independent kid. I was like, I want my own fucking money. I want it, you know, I want at that same age, you know, you get your learner's permit at 15 and like start wanting to drive. I wanted my own car. So like all these things, I was like, I don't want to fucking rely on my parents for that shit. I want to fucking pay for shit myself. So I kind of just jumped straight in, dude, like fucking head first. And I don't know, I'm a very people person. I've always been that way. So, you know, the service industry just made sense. And I've always been like really, really good at it because I can people well. I people well.
I think I feel you on that because I started working in restaurants when I was 15, and it was basically because I just wanted to buy my own shit without my parents telling me no, you know, without my mom. Well, I say parents, I grew up with only my mom, but without my mom being like, no, you can't have that. Be like, bitch, what are you going to say? This is my money, you know? But also I feel like what kind of gets you into the service industry, especially restaurants, is it's just so easy to get a job. They'll damn near hire anybody.
It's true.
And it's so attainable, especially when you're a teenager. And unfortunately, because of that, it becomes a vortex. It just sucks you in. But I mean, I feel like that's a very good use for the service industry. Is like if you need a job, you can get one. Absolutely, now, you can fucking get one in a restaurant.
Yeah, immediately with like so fast and
with
you're right.
Absolutely zero fucking experience.
Yeah,
you know?
Yep. I mean, well, I think.
Do you remember your first restaurant job, Major?
I do. So let me think. You know what? Actually, my first job was a bagger at Publix, which is kind of interesting.
That was Ian's first job. Wasn't it?
At Kroger.
At Kroger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Kroger. Publix is like the kind of a little bit bougier than Kroger. I feel like, you know, it's, but that was kind of like also the area that I grew up in. Like we didn't have Krogers. We had what we call, I don't know if you guys know about Piggly Wiggly.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah.
There's Piggly Wiggly and there's Winn-Dixie's. Like that's a country.
Yeah, I know about that too.
That's a country ass grocery store right there. Yeah. And, but I don't know. It was great. Kind of similar to Kroger, I would say, Winn-Dixie is. And then Publix, but Publix was right up the street from my house. I could walk there from high school.
The Winn-Dixies in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't know about now. I'm sorry, correct me, but back in the day,
might not be there anymore.
Sorry, the Winn-Dixies in Asheville back in the day were, I would probably say, even nicer than like the nicest Kroger in Georgia.
That's true. Yeah, they're
amazing.
And what I tell people all the time is like I'm from the Atlanta area, but my family is from Georgia, so I know about the Piggly Wigglies and Wayfield Foods and fucking Winn-Dixie's and Ingles and all that shit.
Yeah, Ingles is my jam too.
Ingles is great, dude. It's a great grocery store.
Yeah, it is really awesome. Fairly priced. I mean, you know, and it's like quality for fairly priced.
I believe so. Yeah.
Is my jam. And Publix is nice, but that shit can be a little bit pricey sometimes.
No, Publix is very expensive. You get lucky and you get the buy one, get one free.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But other than that, when did you start actually working in a restaurant? And
so after that, sorry, I hop on a tangent.
No, it's fine.
So after that, I started doing like a catering service and then was also serving at a place called, which I don't think it exists anymore, but it's called Booth's Corner Cafe. And it was so like you're very like stereotypical like Southern diner, where like what the waitresses wore, like very what you would see like in a movie, you know, like old school as fuck. And
are you talking like petticoats and all that shit? Like how old school Southern are we going?
Like the cute little dresses and like the little waist aprons.
Diner dresses.
Yeah,
like
diner
poodle skirts and shit.
Not poodle. I'm not talking about the 1950s, Joey. I'm not that
like,
old.
I'm trying to picture this in my head. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so like you know like. Movies that have like
I get
diners,
the diner thing. I don't know why
little
Joey.
Dresses, you know, like whatever. And I'm not a girly girl, so I was like, "You want me to wear that?"
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But it was great. You know, it was like the same like two cooks that are old school, like white ladies that fucking country cooking shit. You know, and they had me. I also did this catering thing where I would drive the company truck. I'm fucking 16, okay? Driving packing all this food up in this little thing. Hell yeah,
dude.
Driving it over to like hospitals and like a couple other like hospitality like hotels and shit like that. And setting up this buffet and whatever and that. And then I also served. I didn't start bartending. My job right after that was a country club. And talk about, again, Southern as fuck. I don't know if you've ever been to a super Southern, old money, fucking Southern country clubs.
I don't think I'm allowed in a country club, man.
Those motherfuckers, like, we talk
I grew up in
racist
Peachtree
as
City.
fuck, racist motherfuckers. Like,
So I grew up in Peachtree City. I know about all that like old shit money country club.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Boy.
Fuck that.
Honestly, it was like, okay, so I did banquet serving, which is wild. We're talking like 75 people tables. You know what I'm saying? And I started bartending there. Very different. I had to wear the penguin suit with like the vest and like stupid. Oh God, I hated it so fucking much. But very clean cut, you know.
But you can make really good money at a country club.
Oh,
right?
Are you kidding? At 16, I was like, I'm rich, bro. I'm fucking rich.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You know, couldn't.
I mean,
spend it
I'll
fast
wear a
enough.
penguin suit for the right money, you know.
I won't. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean, I know
can't
people
do it.
that cook at country clubs nowadays and make pretty decent money.
Oh,
so, like,
yeah,
it's
for
still
sure.
a thing. Still a thing.
It is. You know, again, like I think like I always kind of knew that my hometown was like kind of like a lot of racism and a lot of that stuff.
So
that I
at
was
this
like,
point,
I
you were
don't
still
think
in Columbus?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't like direct in your face, but I always kind of felt like that's not right. Like, right? That's weird. I don't like how that interaction went or whatever. But it was just so prevalent. It was very in your face at that country club. And I winded up leaving because one of the chefs like screamed at me in my face. I don't remember. He called me like a bitch or something like that. And I was like, that was when I was like, oh, hell no. I don't give a fuck what my qualifications are or you know, or how old I am. You don't get to talk to me like that.
But unfortunately, that's how it
Hell
goes
no.
a lot of the times in the services.
Yeah.
You get so fed up, you get so stressed out, and you have nobody else to take your stress out except for each other, you know? And now, did you ever foresee yourself in the, because with me, like I said earlier, I went into the restaurant industry because I got a job there. It stuck, and it just became what I'm good at. Ian, knowing him my whole life, he kind of always wanted to be a chef. Like our whole life, he always talked about wanting to be a chef, you know?
Yeah.
But did you always see yourself going into that, or did you just kind of fall into it?
No. It's kind of like, you know, I was really good in school. I made great grades. I, you know, wanted to be a large animal vet. Yes, I was a horse girl. I don't know if that's shocking or not, but I was definitely a horse girl. Still am a little bit of a horse girl. It's a little
horses
weird.
are majestic as fuck. I can't.
I fucking love them so much, dude. I love them so much. My uncle had horses growing up.
Little known fact about me is my great aunt and uncle had a farm in Griffin, Georgia, a little over 100 acres, and they bred horses. So I grew up around horses.
Oh, you're very familiar then. Yeah.
Badass farm.
Yeah,
Bro.
badass farm. Like I
farm.
grew up shoeing them. I would help take them into the fucking barns. Like I grew up around. I got kicked in the fucking face by a horse when I was 8 years old. Like
I've been kicked
there
many times.
I rode a horse at that farm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
And they also had the coolest golden retriever in the world, Dudley. Shout out Dudley, R.I.P.
Oh, Dudley. Hey, I'll take a shot for Dudley.
Hell yeah.
I fucking loved it. What was I talking about? How did I get on the horse girl topic?
We were talking about what you wanted to do before going
Oh,
into
yeah. Thank you. Sorry, ADD as fuck.
It's okay. I got it too.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I think I always just knew that, you know, it was a skill set that I had. I've always been naturally really good with people. So much so that like people, I just kind of like have this reaction from people that I'm so like friendly or welcoming for them that they just open up and like they're my best friend immediately. And I'm like, cool, buddy, you want to talk to me about your life? That's fine, I guess.
It's the ADD.
Maybe it is. I'm like, what? You know? But yeah, I've always been like kind of naturally really good with people. And so no, it wasn't something like I want to do this, but just something I was good at and was just easy money for me. Easy fucking money and quick. And, you know, I don't know, fun, I guess, because I am an extrovert. So I definitely was getting something out of it.
It can be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being an extrovert too, like, you know, it doesn't drain me, right? To like meet new people or, like be constantly having to talk to a new person or like build a relationship with a total stranger or whatever. Like it doesn't, oh my. Sorry. Are we good? There's quite a problem with the sound there for a second. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yeah. It cut out just a little bit, but we're good.
Sorry. It was weird. It was like echoing. Sounded really crazy.
No, it's okay.
So, but yeah, no. And then I think I just stayed in it because I just, like I said, it just became something I was really good at and kind of just got stuck in it. Kind of like you said, it's like a black hole that sucks you in and then you're just there. But
yeah. And see, that's how I kind of always felt about it. Like you start out, and within a couple of years in the restaurant industry, you're already experienced. You already know what you're doing. You can, if you're a cook, you can go into any restaurant, and within a week or two, you got it down. And it's always something you can fall back on. It's never something I necessarily wanted to make a career out of, just because I really feel like restaurant workers truly are like the biggest unsung heroes. You work your ass off. You're there. You're dedicated. You're on time. You put all in. You're never paid what you're supposed to get paid. If you are paid what you're supposed to get paid, then you're working way more hours and doing more than you should be doing at that place. I remember working at specific bars in Atlanta where I wouldn't get off until 3 a.m. and I would have to be back at 9 a.m. to open again, and it's awful. You're beaten down. And then, like that's why there's such a bad drug and alcohol problem in the restaurant industry, because on your time off, that's the only thing to do. You're either in pain or you're partying or you're going to concerts, and then you're right back where you are. And it's just a loop, and your entire social circle is who you fucking, work with. And it's draining, it's exhausting, and it can be so rewarding, but also so unfulfilling at the same time. And that's why there's such a high fucking depression rate. I wish that restaurant employees could get the respect that they deserve. I feel like there are certain places where you do. Definitely right now, I work at a brunch spot in Athens, and I love that place. It's one of the few restaurants I've worked at where I was like, these people actually give a fuck about me. But it's so concerning the way that restaurant employees get treated.
Yeah, I know. And it is really super sad. And I have, in all my years, and like, listen, I'm staring down the barrel of like 20 years for me. Yeah. And I've lost a lot of friends to suicide and to overdose. And I've watched, friends struggle with addiction really hard, whether it be drugs or alcohol. And depression is prevalent. And unfortunately, like, not just the service industry, but how like America treats, like depression and mental health problems. It's just kind of like, so like, something that people are embarrassed about and don't want to talk about. And that's, I think, to me, that's why like service industry people cling to each other so tightly, because it's the only community that we really have where you feel totally understood. And otherwise, the general public treats you like you're a fucking robot, and you're like, you're not a human. You're just a fucking person to give me what I want now. Mm-hmm. Like no understanding, no compassion for like, okay, this person might have worked fucking 16 hours yesterday. Maybe that's why they're a little slow or a little like jumbled in the brain. They don't give a shit.
And I've never understood what gets people so bent out of shape when they come to eat and they feel like they can just talk to you like you're a fucking dog. I don't. I've never, even before I was in the industry, like I've never had that like you're my servant mentality. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, me either. I mean, I would like to maybe say it's like not how I was raised, but I don't. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just a personality thing. I just kind of treat people like how I want to be treated, the golden rule, whatever. But no, everybody is not like that. And it is really fucked up. And honestly, like this is something I say all the time, but like demographics that you would think would treat you better or maybe have more respect or should have more respect for you are the ones most of the time that treat you like shit. Yeah. Like straight dog shit. Like you're like middle class, more wealthy like demographic. Those are the people that treat you the most like shit. What is that about? Yeah. Why is it like fuck you, dude? Like,
and I've also never understood like a lot of these like white collar fucking yuppie people would come to like Edgewood or come to Little Five where it's like, dude, there's leaks in the ceiling. Every fucking bartender is covered in tattoos. We're playing heavy metal music. Like, what the fuck did you expect when you walked in here? Like, this is not a white tablecloth fucking place.
Bro, it's like I always say, because I've worked in Little Five for over 10 years, 3 different establishments there, and very different experiences. You guys know that I was at Corner Tavern and then also Halford's after that. So I experienced that whole deal. I also saw 2 different owners for Star Bar. I haven't worked for the new version of Yacht Club, but I worked there back in the day, at the old owner. And yeah, I always joke and say, like, these people come. Also, we used to work at 529 and EAV, which is down the street, right? And so it's the same thing. People come out, like, people like that, like your white collar folks come out because it's like going to the zoo for them. They're like, ooh, look at the weirdos, you know, like, ooh, cool. Like,
but it's also
like
that's,
I'm in Atlanta for a night. I'm getting fucked up.
Yeah, but it's also
tourist,
like that's where the
like,
saying came from. Like, take that shit back to Buckhead because that's where it fucking belongs. Like, people
For
gotta
real.
understand the difference between Atlanta and Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
right. Totally.
But yeah, so let's learn just a little bit more about you. Let's talk about how you got the name Major and how that became a thing and how you came to Atlanta.
Okay. Well, I got married very young. And well, this is my second husband. I've been married twice. Well, I know it's tough to say that out loud. But, which I'll talk about that more in a second. But my second marriage, he got a job at Google and, brought us to Atlanta. And I was a housewife. Dude, I was a fucking housewife, man.
Did you hate it or did you low-key
Dude,
kind of like
I
it?
fucking hate it. Are you kidding me? This fucking, like, which he and I are not on speaking terms at all. He was cool when we lived in small town, but then when he got the job at Google, like, money ruined him. It really did. It ruined him. And he was so awful to me and my daughter. Not a good person at all. But I was a housewife. We had 2 huskies and 2 cats, a turtle, and a shitload of fish, and a ferret.
And a daughter.
And yeah, it was a fucking zoo in my house. Fucking zoo. And, you know, meanwhile, I'm a single, in my eyes, I was a single mom. I was a single mom before that. My kid was born. I was 19 when I had her, but, you know, so I'm dealing with my kid, raising my kid, and cleaning this fucking constant chaos in the house. And we had money, you know. I was a housewife. We had money. Lived in a nice house in Woodstock or whatever. And I played roller derby to keep from murdering my husband. I'm pretty sure. Like, I had dreams about burying him in the backyard. I'm not kidding. Like, I fucking hated him. He was so awful. But yeah, I played roller derby for almost 8 years. And my jersey name, you know, you do all this training and shit, and then you have to make a team. It's a big, long ordeal. And when you finally make a team, then you pick your name. You get to pick your jersey name. And my name was Major Slays Her.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
I was a big fan of Ghost in the Shell too at the time, so it was like a Major Kusanagi reference as well as Major Laser.
Nice,
like
hell yeah, that's
DJ.
what's up.
So weird.
Nah, dude, it's fucking tight.
But so that's where it came from. And after my body was like, no, bitch, sit down. You're not doing roller derby anymore. I don't know. It just stuck. And
yeah, but how fucking fun was roller derby? That's got to be a blast.
Amazing. I would say for chicks like me, you know, I always was very much into like contact sports growing up, and it's very physical, very physically taxing, and also like, you know, what is it like body on body, like not, you know what I'm saying? Like
Did
you're
you
fucking
just love giving a fucking elbow to somebody's face?
God.
Yeah, dude.
Well, there's no, I mean, that's like not legal, elbows to faces, but like,
But you
it's
still
more,
do it, right?
I mean, you know, sometimes
Yeah,
it happens
you do
on
it.
accident, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you do
it. But
Did you get injured or something like that?
Oh,
Is that
fuck.
what kind of made you like? Yeah.
I got injured so
I think
fucking
you just
much.
stay injured in that
That's
sport,
really
dude.
what it is, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, and
Did you learn how to whip it real good? Did you get the fucking whip?
I did do some some whips, not whippets. That's drugs.
Oh, I did plenty of those too, right?
I mean, not really my thing, but yeah, you know. But yeah, it is like super fucking fun. I will tell you, it was like the best camaraderie I think I've ever experienced in any kind of organized
it
like
seems
sport.
like that because
You know-
everybody I know who plays roller derby, they just go on and on about how they finally like found a sisterhood in a home, you know?
Oh man, it is very much like that. Also, you just spend so much time together, and you know, you're sweating, and it's very like sometimes it's really hard, and you need your teammates to like be like, you got this, you fucking got it, like come on, you know, and that kind of shit also was kind of something that I had a hard time kind of finding through my childhood. And so once I found that, like a bunch of strong ass, unapologetic women like me, like a bunch of us in one room, I was like, oh, this is fucking scary and also really powerful, you know, like really great.
That, man.
It was really great.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, I love that sport. I do miss it, but there's no fucking way I could do that now. I'd die.
So you did touch on how you had a kid young. How was that adjusting to motherhood at such a young age? And then after the separation with your second husband, how was it being a single mom, getting into the service industry? You know, I'm sure we'll segue it properly, but that's kind of a loaded question.
It's a lot. That's a lot of ground to cover. So where do I start? Well, okay. So my first husband, he was a soldier. He was Army.
Okay.
And I was 19. He was, he was in Iraq and he came home and, Jesus Christ, when you're in a relationship that young and you don't see him for a really long time, then you see him for like 2 weeks, then you just kind of like fuck like rabbits, And so I got pregnant. I got pregnant like really fucking fast. All of a sudden I was like, shit, this is fucking not in the plans. Okay, cool. But, I didn't,
Was it the fucking stereotypical Army marriage? Like, I'm about to be deployed. We got to get fucking married.
Yeah, it was actually, I wasn't like your traditional Southern girl either, where it was like, I want this. I want kids. I want to get married. I want the white picket fence and all that shit. That wasn't me. But it was also scary, though, to be a single mom that young. Yeah. So kind of weird to say, but like I was, in the South, you're kind of, it's kind of standard that you're religious, at least some form of it anyway. Mm-hmm. And my church told me that I had to marry him to legitimize my kid so that she didn't go to hell. Something like that. Yeah.
So your kid was going to go to hell. You weren't going to go.
I mean, I'm sure I was they already knew that I had a fast, ticket there already. Yeah. But, so I was kind of pressured, like in a really fucked up way, to get married. And as you can imagine, that did not go well. It didn't last very long. And then, I guess, I fucking rekindled like a relationship with like my high school sweetheart, who was the second husband. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, still being young as a single mom, like everybody kept telling me shit like, you need to find a father for your kid because it's like so crazy for you to do that shit by yourself. Like what? That mentality doesn't exist anymore. But it did. In a small southern town, that's what people say to you.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. But
so Columbus really is a small town. Like it still has.
I mean, it is not so much anymore. Like when I go back to see my brother, sister, and my mom, it is different. It has developed a little bit more, but it's still like that small town mentality, though.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's not like Atlanta where like, there's so much diversity and so much shit is like in your face that you just don't see in small towns. You just don't. Yeah. But yeah. And like all through this, y'all, I mean, so many life changes. Like the easiest job you can have is a service industry job.
Yeah.
It's pretty flexible. And
it is.
It kind of, I could drop a job and get another one tomorrow, Mm-hmm. So I guess that's why I just kind of it was like always the thing that kept me afloat. I did have some professional jobs in between, like I was a paralegal aide for a bit. I was a medical assistant for a little bit. The money is not as good.
As they say it is. Yeah.
It's just not, not like I'm just made triple the money that I'm, made.
And that's something that like, I guess working back of house, I was always kind of like, especially as I got older, I was like, man, I should have fucking went to front of house because not to be rude or like take anything away from people, but there are times we'll be slammed on a fucking Saturday night and I'm back there sweating, fucking have tickets touching the floor because we're so busy. And I in my head feel like I'm doing all the work. And then I see servers walk away with twice my rent money in their fucking hand. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Wait, what? Yeah. It's funny you say that because I always kind of thought maybe I would, maybe segue back to like back of house from front of house. I don't know if that really makes a whole lot of sense for me personality wise. I don't know. Because like I've definitely had a lot of friends, Charlie's back of house. I just don't know personality wise if that that would have been a good choice for me. I just make so much money talking to people, and I'm like that. I feel like is a different skill set than someone who is back of house.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I would say there's about a good 75% of back of house people that you don't want around customers, and they belong back there.
Yeah,
I'm just keeping it real. I'm being honest. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want them seen in the front of the house.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Like they shouldn't even work in open kitchen restaurants.
Like,
you know,
don't go to the Coke machine, please.
Yeah. Like I will get it for you, dude. Just tell me what you want. You thirsty? I got you, dude. I got you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So circling back.
But also, I'll tie in. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'll tie into to what Joey and Major both were saying about how like the back of the house versus the front of the house thing, because like there's this weird part where I agree with Joey, because there was a point in my life where like you would see that person as the bartender and they're walking away on a Friday night with like $400 and $500. I might be over exaggerating depending on.
Oh, you're not over exaggerating.
You're not. No,
so
you're not.
There's times when you would
You're
walk
under
away with that.
exaggerating, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, even so. All right. So let's just say you're walking out with like $400 or $500. Okay, in reality, that is literally a kitchen person's weekly paycheck.
Yeah, that's their entire
know.
paycheck. Yeah.
That is their whole paycheck, and you just made that bitch on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And like that.
And guess
always
what?
used
You're
to be
still
like,
coming in on Saturday night too, and you're gonna make more money.
Exactly, and that always used to be this weird thing, and I always had it in my head when I was younger, and I don't know why I would like try and convince myself that like, oh, I worked harder than they did, when like it's all bullshit. We all worked as hard as we all did together. You had to deal with the people.
Yes,
I had
I'll
to
say
deal with
that.
the food.
We do both work equally as hard, but the pay scale difference is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
Completely.
It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. And I always thought that, you know, and I always kind of blows my mind. There's throughout the years various different places where like, you know, there's a really awesome tip out scale, you know, that kind of helps with that.
Yeah.
But not always though. Like when I was at Corner Tavern, dude, there was no tip out for the kitchen.
Yeah.
There was zero tip out.
Let me say with
Fucked
full
up.
transparency, I'm not taking anything away from servers or bartenders. By all means, I believe that they deserve every ounce of tips they get. They do. However, the kitchen guys deserve to get paid a lot more than they do too.
I agree with that.
Because a lot of your tips depend on how quickly the kitchen gets it out to your fucking table, you know?
For sure.
So yes, the servers, they got to mingle with the customers, they got to keep them happy, they got to keep their drinks filled, everything like that. The servers deserve every ounce of money they fucking get. I wholeheartedly believe that. But the kitchen guys deserve more than what they make.
More money.
100%. And I think that also like a problem with that is because the pay is so low for kitchen staff. This is why there's always such a turnover rate for the kitchen.
Absolutely.
Like this is why you can't keep solid people in the kitchen because you don't pay them good enough.
Yeah.
So they're fucking, a lot of them are fucking scumbags, you know? I mean, I'm not talking about you guys necessarily, but I've worked with some really sleazy.
Again, like you're not lying about that. Like the majority of them are fucking dirty ass motherfuckers. Like they are.
They're just trying to fill like a position. They're just trying to put a warm body in a position. Somebody that is like, well, fuck it. I'll take the $14 an hour or whatever the shit it is, you know, like to fucking wash dishes and fucking be treated like shit.
Or the majority of the time, it's like their second or third job and they don't give a shit.
There's that, yeah.
I'll put it in perspective for you perfectly. Have you ever been to Waffle House on like a busy ass Sunday and those cooks are fucking running around like chickens with their heads cut off?
Yes.
Those dudes are making like $13 a fucking hour starting out. That's so fucking unfair, dude.
It is fucking unfair. It is. It really is. And you know, this is again, like you said, this is why there's such a prevalent, like, you know, super depressed, like drug addictions and alcohol problems, because like, honestly, a lot of us fucking do it just to make it through that next shift. It's like, you know, you're just surviving from one shift to another. And
or I mean, as the majority of us live, we live check to check, so we're just trying to make it till
that's
that next
another
check.
thing I was going to touch on, because like working in the restaurant industry, no matter how old you get, it makes finding your independence so much harder because you're making such little money. Like you need other people to rely on, you need other people to help you pay bills, you need roommates, you need like it's so hard to find your independence as an adult when you work in the service industry, unless you're just, you know, badass at your job and you know you have a good spot where you're making money hand over fist. It's usually front of house people, just being honest, unless
unless you're a kitchen manager or a general manager, like you're gonna need help relying on that. And it kind of takes a hit at your pride, because a lot of guys, you see them and they're in their late 40s, and they have roommates. They're only making $20 an hour. That's because they've been at the restaurant for 10 fucking years, and it does something to you. It makes you feel less than, and that's why half of your paycheck's going to alcohol. That's why you clock out and spend your entire paycheck at the bar that you work at. It does such a number to you because you're just so underappreciated.
Underappreciation, that right there. I'm so glad you said that, because I sometimes recently I've had to job hunt like you guys, and it's fucked up every time I have to print out my resume, because it's like fucking 3 pages long, and it's like you look at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've worked at this so many different places, and it's like, well, there's a reason why I didn't stay there, because, for various different things. And it's like, I don't feel I'm not going to invest in a place that doesn't invest in me. And so then I'm just like, well, fuck you. You're not going to appreciate me. Then I'm going to go somewhere where I am appreciated until I don't feel appreciated there. And then I'm going to leave there and go somewhere else where I fucking feel appreciated. And it's just like an endless cycle like that, and so you'll spend. And for me, it's devastating because, like, people I work with, they do become your family. You guys know that. And it's devastating when it's like, shit, dude, I have to start over. I have to build these connections with these people all over again. And it is devastating. And it sucks.
And just as well as I do, every time you go into a new restaurant, they don't know who you are. There's a hazing period. They don't want you to be better than them. They don't want you to get more shifts than them. They don't want you to get, the better tables.
They don't know you, and they don't want to.
They don't give a fuck about you. They're hoping that you quit after a week. You know what I'm saying?
But you know why,
and then, especially if you're good at your job, then they fucking hate you, dude.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Listen, okay, you about to hear me on my soapbox now, okay? Like, listen, I'm fucking really good at bartending. This is getting serious. I'm really fucking good at my job. I always have been. And, I've always been a threat. So this is maybe something a little different than what you guys deal with back at house. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I haven't done it. But, like, for me, that what you just fucking said is, like, literally been a very consistent problem with every bit of my career, because I walk in and I'm like, cool. Yeah. All right. I already know how to do this. And I'm fucking already like learning your job and your job and your job. And I'm fucking doing it faster than you. And I'm fucking not trying to take anybody's jobs. Everybody thinks I'm trying to take their job. I'm like, I don't want to be a GM of this motherfucker. No, I'm not doing that. I just want to be a good bartender, and I want to help everybody's job go smoother and, help the restaurant run, better. Right. But it's such a threat. And I've had so many problems with other females in the industry that immediately want to cut you down, and they want to fucking sabotage you, and they want to fucking make your shit so hard for you that they want to push you out because they're afraid.
Front of house, like bartenders, especially the whole mean girl aspect. I've seen it. I've never lived it because I'm not a bartender, but I've seen it happen. So I know that you deal with that way worse than I have.
It's bad, and I'm the kind of person that, like, I want to be your friend. I want to, like, let's fucking be like a team. Like, you know what? If a bartender comes in and isn't lazy and doesn't fucking slack off, and you fucking do the same thing, guess what? We're going to make fucking so much money. And we're both
going to get rich together, dude.
Yeah. We're both going to fucking, benefit from that. And I don't understand. I really don't. I fucking still, to this day, I'm, like, very confused. I don't get it. Why don't you see it as a fucking asset or something that's valuable as fuck? Like, I could keep this girl around and show her the ropes, like how I know the ropes, and then we can run this bitch and make fucking tons of money. Nah, dude. Nah, it never works that way.
You know what I have learned?
And it's always
the
complete opposite.
It's always the opposite. It's the opposite.
But you know what I have learned? Those people who are upset and who are jealous and who are tense when you come in, it's because they've been there longer, they've gotten used to it, and they've become lazy, and now they've got someone coming in who's not lazy, who's making them look bad, and then they get mad because you make them look bad. That's the truth of the matter.
Fuck up.
You know?
Yeah,
which the thing is, I just want to chill at work too. I'm not trying to outshow you, but at the same time, I got to keep this job, bro.
Well, and also, like, my personality and how I work and how I operate is, like, I'm not a lazy person. I'm not a sitter. I don't sit well, bro. It's very uncomfortable for me to sit down.
I got too much ADD
I
to
just
fucking
can't.
sit around.
Yeah, no, for real. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I want to always be going. And people sometimes interpret that as, oh, she's trying to show me out. But no, I just like, that's how I work. My work ethic is, I'm a hard worker, always have been. And you know, I would like to say, like, not everybody who has kind of like hazed me or whatever is not necessarily always like a negative thing.
Yeah.
It goes back to the service industry and how it, unfortunately, it kind of like makes people feel like, what am I trying to say?
That it's completely toxic.
Yeah.
It can be. Well, no,
yes.
I will say there have been some
like,
people who like hazed me and pushed me to try to make me better or whatever. And it's true, they were trying to do that. But at the same time, in the back of my head, it's like, bro, I don't care about being the best pizza maker. I just want to get fucking paid.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, and I do take pride, dude. I do take pride. I know that, like, when I come in for my bartending shifts, I've got fucking regulars that I've had for years that have followed me from establishment to establishment, and that shit feels good. That makes me feel good as fuck, because I know that's the appreciation that I get is from my regulars. I get that appreciation through them. You know, but what I was saying is, like, is sometimes these people that haze you is only because the industry is like grooming you to have this negative kind of mentality toward it makes you feel like it's a dog eat dog world, and it's not necessarily a person. It's like how the industry kind of creates that mentality in you. It makes you feel like, I have to fight for my own, like blah blah blah, you know. It kind of creates that, and I hate it. It wasn't always like that. When I first started bartending, it was like that teamwork kind of shit. But now, especially now, like lately in the last, like, I would say maybe, 7-8 years, the pandemic did fucking do a number on the industry.
The pandemic made people really fucking lose it, dude.
I mean, and it's just so different. It's not teamwork anymore. It's more like, that's not my table. I'm not going to bust your shit for you. Fuck you. You know,
but I
like,
will say,
I'm
when you do
going to
find...
tie this in.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to tie this into a conversation we had earlier about how, like, nowadays, like, our patrons don't necessarily give a fuck either. I think strongly that, like, there was a point when the pandemic happened where people looked at, I'll say, the people, like us people, the people in this industry, as like, oh shit, they're doing a great job. They're still serving us. Like, they're trying to do their job. Let's support them. Let's do what we can. And then there was this weird point, and I don't know when it was, because I've talked
It's when everything went back to normal, dude.
Well, but then, like, it was even before, like, normalcy, like, was happening. Like, there was this weird shift where, like, people literally were just like, no, motherfucker, like, where is my shit?
Yeah.
Like, where, like, I demand it now.
Well, I think with everything going on back then, people eventually just lost their patience, because that was a crazy fucking time, dude. It really was.
Yeah, it was for everybody, you know.
And I'm not trying to
even,
defend anybody. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get it. It was just this weird shift that happened, and, like, I've talked to multiple people about this, and, like, people have agreed that, like, there was this, like, let's support him, let's do what we can, like, I will say, all of a sudden, like, everybody was like, no, we're back to shitting on him.
Well,
yeah,
I will say,
no,
it was so fast. The flip was so fast.
Yes.
But when you do finally find a restaurant to work at where everybody does get along and everyone likes each other, and the managers look out for you and they'll stick up for you, it's the most refreshing thing in the fucking world. And I've only found that once. It ended up blowing up in my face, but at first it was great to work at.
Yeah, it's a great place to work. It's a wonderful place to work. And then the owners shut down the day of that they tell you they're shutting down.
Yeah.
God, I felt so fucking bad for y'all. And you know what? Like, I would like to say, I don't want to. No, but you know what? It is very fresh in our minds,
It's part of
dude.
our story, so
it is.
It is.
And I mean, you know, I would like to say, you know, I don't want to speak for Charlie, but you know, he was so devastated because, and even though after he found another job, he is like so crushed every day when he goes to work, because it's not the same. And he says it all the time. I miss my dudes. I miss going to work there. And I had so much fun, and it made work so easy and enjoyable. And it was like a bro. Y'all were some bros. Y'all were some brotherhood hanging out.
So
it was beautiful.
Because everybody there was friends. Me, like the owners who we're talking about, I trusted them. I had like real conversations with them. They led me and Ian to believe that we were going to go places together. They even told Ian that they were going to help him open his own restaurant and shit. Like it got that deep.
God.
And then all of a sudden they just not only closed the restaurant, but closed the restaurant on us with not even a day's notice. I go into work and I'm told
day of notice.
I go into work and I'm told, hey, we're shutting down. There's nothing we can fucking do about it. And I just felt so blindsided because I had spent all this time building this relationship with you and trusting you. And, I thought we had a family here. I thought we had something good going. And then it was all taken away from me. And then after we closed, we learned more things, like they knew it was going to close. They kind of planned for it to close. They knew this whole time and they lied to everybody. And now
it's almost like, how long were they lying to your faces?
And
like how long were they doing that?
Now they've cut off, like they've abandoned their 401k account, so we can't pull our money out. Like it was really just the biggest disrespectful slap in the face I've ever had. And it almost made me just like not want to work in restaurants ever again,
Yeah. And that's happened to me a couple of times, not quite as dramatic as what happened to you guys. But it has happened to me a couple of times. And, it does kind of crush your soul because you're like, dude, what the fuck, dude? I had your back. Like, I had your back so fucking hard. And I, like, genuinely believed in this. And I think that, as fucked up as it is, they rely on those kind of people to run their fucking restaurants. They need people to be, like, fucking faithful and, like, loyal as fuck like that in order to make the most fucking money.
And we were. And like, I'm not trying to stand on my soapbox, but like, I have 3 kids at home.
Oh, I'm standing firmly on it. I'm standing firmly on that.
We
bitch.
have this platform.
No, like, I have 3 kids at home. I lived about an hour and a half away from this restaurant. I sacrificed my time with my family. I sacrificed sleep. I put all this wear and tear on my cars because I believed in something. I believed in that restaurant, and then it was just poof, gone.
Shit right in your face. Like right, just straight up in your face. And it's just like, I'm super protective of my dude. And when that happened, I was like, who is it? Who is it? I'm fighting him. I'm gonna fight him. Like I'm fucking. Where?
You and my wife had the same reaction.
Oh,
my wife was ready to literally
oh my
throw
God.
a gas can in that place and light it on fire.
Charlie told me that. What was it? The day of, like, What's Her Nuts was, like, going around, like, who's this Jacqueline Owens bitch who keeps fucking texting me? And I was like, are you gonna fucking do it yet? You're gonna start that fucking GoFundMe yet? You're gonna do that yet? Or you're gonna do, I'm gonna do it. It's like a priority. Yeah, it takes 5 minutes. Sit down, do it now.
You can do it while you're taking a shit,
Yeah, like, so fast. It's such an easy thing to do. And I was busting her whole balls about it, dude. I was not, I had y'all's back. I was like, no, I'm going to go to war. I'm going to war. Let's go.
Appreciate that. But, but speaking of Charlie, how did you guys meet? I know that you guys play in a band together. I know that, you've had a great relationship. Have you guys worked together in the same restaurant before?
Yeah, we have actually.
Okay.
So, it's funny because people are like, oh my God, like is that a good idea to be in a band with your boyfriend and also to work with him? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, are you nuts? And I'm like, I don't know. We just always, like I said, he's my best friend. So like we work well together. We know each other inside and out. And so like, we know our weaknesses and our downfalls and all that. And so we like just handle it well. Some people aren't actually compatible and can't handle that kind of situation. Yeah. But we have found that, I don't know, we actually work together pretty well. But we met through music.
Okay.
We had mutual friends that we just kind of would always wind up at the same like parties or the same shows or whatever like that. And so I knew him for a long time. Now, this is where it gets kind of funny. I was gay. I played roller derby. Hello,
wait, but
whatever.
Like,
and I had 2 really awful marriages, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to chicks." I'm fucking going to chicks.
You used to be gay, like you're still a little gay.
I know,
right?
no, I'm definitely still gay, super gay. We make jokes about it all the time. Charlie's like, I turned her straight, and she turned me gay. But no, I'm definitely still gay. But like, it's one of those things like our chemistry was undeniable, and like sometimes that emotional connection makes you physically attracted, right? Like the emotional connection comes first and makes
It's the hair.
I mean, I tell people all the time, from the back he looks like a chick, kind of. Yeah. You're welcome for that. You're welcome. Charlie's like, God damn it. fucking, why will you stop telling people that, babe? Like, fuck you.
I mean, no, it's true. I've seen him walk around plenty of times.
I'm like, hey, baby. You know?
Yes.
But, you know, so we just started like hanging out, and it's really funny. I kind of, my last lesbian relationship did not end well, unfortunately. And this goes back to service industry depression. My partner and I bartended together, and she committed suicide on me. And
Oh, shit.
yeah, that was that dark thing I told you it was going to talk
I'm
about.
so sorry.
It was like 7 years ago. It's 2017. Oh shit, a little more than 7 ago. But so I was kind of like this bitter, crotchety lesbian that just hung out with a bunch of straight dudes, musicians, and you know, Charlie and I would always kind of like wind up alone. And I had this one buddy. I don't know if you guys know Dylan Brown. Did you know Dylan? He was pretty well known in the music scene, but he was like my best buddy, and he would kind of like always just appear in the room when Charlie and I were hanging out alone and be like, dude, she's gay. You just gotta leave her alone, dude. She's gay. You know? It's so funny. It kind of was like that for a long time. And then I don't know, Charlie just kind of went out on a limb one day and was like, so I like you. And I was like,
Charlie.
shit. I think I like you too, but what does that mean? Because I'm like, I'm supposed to be a lesbian. Does that mean I'm a fraud? You know, like whatever. And it was kind of a lot. You know, all my friends kind of freaked out for a second. Like, what? You're supposed to be gay. You can't date a man. Like, that's fucked up. That's weird.
Like,
you know,
I do what I want, bitch.
Charlie's cute little butt went on Facebook and made a public post about us being in a relationship. That caused a fucking explosion of a reaction.
Yes.
I was like, baby, Mr. I don't use social media. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
but
so you became
Hell yeah,
Facebook
Charlie.
official.
Hell yeah.
yeah, 2 weeks in.
Hell
And
yeah.
he was like, yeah, I did it on purpose. I wanted them all to know that I turned you straight. I was like, okay, all right.
He's very proud of
God.
himself. I mean, he doesn't win a lot, so you got to give him something, you know.
Oh no, yeah, it was fine. It's kind of funny though to talk about it now. But he, yeah, we've been great ever since. Honestly,
Hell yeah,
it took
that's
a
what's up.
while. Took a while for me to like, you know, convince them to play guitar for my band. He's like, dude, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna play guitar for my girlfriend's band. Shit, you know. But it's been great, dude. It's been fucking great. Honestly, I cannot ask for a better partner or, you know, teammate, fucking bandmate. It's pretty great. I fucking love that guy.
That's great.
He's awesome.
Man. I'm so
Yeah.
glad for you too. And I love
Yeah.
Charlie, so I love seeing him happy. So that's
Everybody
fucking
loves
awesome.
Charlie, dude. Everybody fucking loves Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not, dude. Have you seen him?
I know. The curly blonde locks gets everybody.
But yeah, so we're getting towards the end of this right now.
Oh my God, I talk so much. I'm sorry.
No, you're supposed to. You're doing exactly what you're supposed
This is
to do.
perfect. It's
Yeah.
been amazing.
Imagine if you came on here and didn't talk.
Oh, that would be really awkward, wouldn't it?
But yeah, I mean, before we let you go, I just want to thank you so much. That was amazing. Is there anything you want to say before you leave? Anything you want to shout out? How they can find Moonlust? Anybody you want to call out?
Yeah, you know, I would say like, to anybody who is still in the industry and still grinding it out every day, like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. If you have fucking mental health issues or you need a fucking buddy, like, I think that, you know, mostly just reach out to your fellow industry folks and I don't know, hopefully just try to find a support system. That shit's so fucking hard to do. The other thing is, my band, I'll plug the band. My band's called Moonlust. It's been around for about 8 years. It's psychedelic rock and roll. I kind of try to explain it like Black Sabbath and Janis Joplin had a baby a little
Hell
bit.
yeah. That's exciting.
We just had a show at 529 like on the 31st of January and we sold out. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really badass. And I love that doing music is like honestly kind of keeps me going in the industry, you know, a lot. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I'm sorry what happened. But you guys are badass. You're gonna bounce back. And like what I tell Charlie all the time is that like shit like that happens because it was time for you to move on and find something that you deserve and something better for you. And even though it's, you know, change is always uncomfortable and fucking sucks in the moment, it's like be glad that it happened then and not fucking 10 years down the road or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are badass. Thank you so much for having me
Oh
on.
no, thank you, Major.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll let you go now. Thank you so much, Major.
All right. Of course, dude.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Major.
Have a good night.
Hey, you too.
All right. Bye.
All right, I can't thank Major enough for that. That was awesome. That was pretty eye-opening. I hope that somebody who hasn't worked in the restaurant industry can take from that, go in and understand why you need to tip your servers well, you need to tip your bartenders well, and don't be such a fucking prick over some goddamn French fries and shit. Other than that, I really do want to touch on there is a devastating amount of depression and drug use and suicide in the restaurant industry, and you see it all the time because of how underappreciated you feel. And I just want you to know, if you're working out there and you feel that way, you don't have to stay there. If you feel like the boss is a piece of shit, doesn't appreciate you, you're not going anywhere there, you don't have to stay there. And you have people, you have friends around you, open up to them, talk to them. That's all it fucking takes. It can save your life.
People that will support you.
Absolutely. But you don't have to stay somewhere where you don't feel good enough or underappreciated. Nothing has to keep you there. Just like I said, with the restaurant industry, you get enough experience one place, you can go anywhere you want. So don't keep yourself in an unhappy situation. It's not worth it.
And take it from me, if there is any person that is in this industry and honestly feels like they are underappreciated and they don't have a choice, because some people honestly don't have a choice and they're stuck in a job.
Yeah.
I promise there are things, there are outlets, and there are people out there that can help you and that will help you. There are good people still left in this industry. We're not saying that everybody in this industry is bad. There is good people in this industry, and there are bosses that do tend to care. I'm not going to say that do care. I'm going to say that tend to care a little more than others. And when you find those people, those are the people you want to stick for or stick with, because you know you're being appreciated.
And seek that out. There's so many bars and restaurants I've worked at where I did feel a community. I did feel like it was a family. Like, seek that place out. Like, if you're dreading going to work and every day it just feels worse than the next, don't fucking work there anymore. Find somewhere else to go and keep searching around until you find it. But I'm saying none of that is worth your life. None of that is worth your mental health. None of that is worth your physical health. Take care of yourself, With that, you want to tell everyone where they can find us, Ian?
If you search on Instagram, it's This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. It's TTATO, Podcast ATL. Again, that's TTATO, Podcast ATL. You can find us on YouTube at This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. And again, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hell yeah, dude. It's time for some Donkey Kong Country 2, baby.